It's like Christmas in a cup. It's, it's Christmas in a cup. Good drink for the drop. How's it going, guys? Travis here from Tackle Bros, and welcome to our weekly drop. This week we got a bunch of awesome stuff in that we've been waiting a long time for, as well as some stuff that's been out of stock that we pushed really hard to get back in for you guys. And I'm going to start out this week by showing you guys our new Christmas boxes. Now, we've been building boxes for Christmas for I think 4 or 5 years now, almost from the beginning. I think it was either the first year or the second year. This is something that I actually really love doing because we get to sort of surprise people with stuff that is tailored towards them. So we ask questions like, do you fish from shore a lot? Do you fish in a kayak? Are you a tournament angler? Do you like throwing BFS? Are you only familiar with spinning, or are you also a bait caster guy, or maybe you're just a bait caster guy? So we really kind of tune this in, and then there's a little section at the bottom that if you give me some lakes, I can generally sort of figure out a good color profile for everybody. Now, this is a great thing to show your significant other. So if they don't know what to get you and you're an avid fisher person, this is going to be the thing for you. So it comes in these beautiful boxes that we get custom made every year. We had to get some new ones because obviously we changed the name. So it's just going to have our Tackle Bros logo there. On the inside, we have a special message for whoever is receiving it. I'm not going to reveal it because I think it's a cool message, and we try to put a new message in every single year. Pretty cool box. We also ship them inside of a box, so if you don't want people to know what it is at all, they won't know. And yeah, we do these. There's a bunch of different price categories. We start at $50, so if you're just getting into fishing, or you have kids you're just looking to get a simple gift for, we have that. And then we have all the way up to $5,000. So that at that point, we're probably going to call and sort of feel you out a little bit. Maybe we get you a rod, reel combo, something like that, or a couple. Generally we do, what did we do? Two $5,000 ones last year, I think. Yeah. So really, really cool boxes. We look forward to doing them every year for you guys. It's super fun, sort of, specializing these for everybody. We have a great time doing it. All right, let's get into the goods. So this week we finally got in our batch of Raid Japan Ghost Wire and Ghost Wire Next Level. I'm gonna spend some time on these because this is something that so these were introduced to the Japanese market, I believe December, January of last year. I was gifted a couple of these by my friends over at Raid. We had a ton of fun, throwing these around. This is a really unique Alabama rig. I'm gonna take one in. So there we go. The nice thing is that you don't have to adjust the wires out of the package. So this is a really unique Alabama rig. It's not like any other A-rig I've ever seen before. It doesn't fish like any other A-rig I've used before. This was originally just supposed to be a part of Raid's backyard project. If you're not familiar with the backyard works, basically Raid comes out with stuff sometimes. They just put it on their online store, sells out, and usually don't make it again. And if they do make it again, it only stays for that backyard works. When I seen this product, I was so excited that I pressed and begged and pleaded. And we've been to the facility, 3 times this year? And this was almost every single time a main talking point. At the Bassmaster Classic, we actually helped them out with their booth. And again, like many dinners and conversations, I was like, I know this is supposed to be just for that online, but this is really something that needs to be brought to everybody. And I like that they do special things, but this one, I feel like we needed it as well, right? So I'm gonna start with this is the 5 blade. So this is the Super Finesse Alabama rig. The first thing you're gonna notice is, I'm gonna fully spec this out. So you're going to have this main wire that runs through the entire thing. This is gonna be a little bit thicker than the outside wires. It's gonna let them have a lot more flex. All these blades are plastic blades with a little bit of flash. There's a couple different styles of blades, but they're all plastic. Now, this is gonna do 2 things. It's going to make this have a extremely, almost non-existent fall rate. So if you're just using, traditional spine hooks like a lot of guys are doing on these, mixed with some plastics, it's gonna have a very, very slow fall rate. The other thing that guys are doing with this is actually weighting it slightly and using it as a mid-strolling bait. What I was actually shown by a couple of guys that, had had a lot of time and maybe helped develop this, they were actually throwing this up against structure and just kind of shaking it, looking like a big ball of bait fish. So there would be a big piling, they kind of chuck it up against the piling, let it sink down a bit, shake it, you would get the flash from all the fish rollers, from the blades and everything like that, and they would unload on this thing. We had a ton of success doing that exact same thing. We had a ton of success throwing this in the mid column, throwing a couple jig heads on there. Because of the blades, this thing actually sits very, very level. It's something that I wish was way more readily available because I think that this would be a staple in so many people's arsenal. Speaking of availability, it's not gonna be readily available. I don't know if they're gonna do another batch. If they are, I don't know when they're gonna do another batch. We actually had a batch come out to us where Canada Post, which is our postal service, is kind of having some strike right now. So I actually had them send me a secondary order here so that I could at least bring you guys something cool before Christmas. So like I said, this is the 5 blade, and then this is gonna be the next level. So this is the big brother of the 5 blade. This is gonna be the 7 blade. If you're throwing an A-rig, if you haven't, most guys who are gonna buy these have, look up your regulations, check how many hooks you can use. These are all gonna have snaps on them, so you can take the blades on and off, you can put hooks on and off. You could technically put 15 hooks on this thing. In Japan, it doesn't matter because obviously of the invasive species thing, they probably put 15 blades on this. We can only put 3. So this guy's gonna probably play for us a little bit more. Check your state or provincial regulations, go off that. Most of the time, you guys have probably watched as many tactical bass and A-rig videos as I have, and experience, they're gonna hit that back blade or they're gonna hit the 2 bottom ones 9 out of 10 times, and then the odd time they're gonna take those other couple. I like the 5 blade just because it's very easy to throw. These are super light, you don't need any specialized gear for them, and they're just phenomenal. They also come in these little tubes, which if you guys have ever tried to store A-rigs, not the most fun thing, especially after you sort of bent out the arms. And the great thing with these is the arms are sort of really good out of the package. I don't do much with this once I take it out of the package. One thing I will say is that these outer arms are a little bit more fragile. So if you are bending them back, they actually recommend you to use a pair of pliers and try to get a little bit more of the blade so that you don't break them or they, become fragile. These are not cheap A-rigs, so that's something you're gonna wanna pay attention to. And then these are also obviously plastic, so they are gonna be fragile as well. I'm gonna run through the 3 different colors with you. I'm gonna show you the 7 blades just because you can see them a little bit more. This first one that I'm holding up is going to be full fish hollow. So this is a completely covered blade. So it's gonna have a lot of reflection, sort of a rainbow silver pattern. This looks really, really nice. This is going to be the half fish gunmetal hollow. So again, just another super, dude, these are unreal. Like I never had the 7 blade, but man. Sorry, I never had the 7 arm, but again, more of a gunmetal on the one side, sort of rainbowy on the other side. That's a super sick one. And then this last one is gonna be half fish hollow. So that, similar to that first one, just half the blade is gonna be transparent. So you got options. These things are badass. I already put some in the truck. So something I've been looking forward to bringing you guys. Something super sick from Raid that you're not gonna find too many places in North America. So check out the Ghost Wire from the Backyard Works from Raid Japan, available now. Okay, let's switch over to Duo Realis. This week, I finally got my hands on the all-new Seek 85. So this is the Bayruf Seek 85 Underwalker. If you guys aren't familiar with this style of fishing, it's become really, really popular, sort of coming over from the saltwater side of things. A lot of guys started figuring out that this is obviously really effective, especially with all the mid-strolling stuff. And just, saltwater actually has a bunch of really cool things, which is sort of the next thing that we're doing as well, originating in saltwater. This guy's 85 millimeters, 15 grams, so it's gonna cast a mile. They're saying that it's 0 to 2 meters dive depth. Basically, you are working this subsurface, This is going to have that back and forth walk the dog action, sort of similar to a a kick knocker or something like that. So if you're used to throwing a spook or something on the top water where it's walking back and forth, this is going to do that subsurface. It's very easy to work. That was the first thing that I noticed when we were playing with it. I didn't have to impart a lot of rod action. I wasn't really working. It's, some things when you're trying to get them to do whatever the action is that they say it is, you're after you've done it yourself, you're like, this is kind of hard work. Not hard work at all, just subtle rod movements, a little bit of reel movement, and this thing was walking like crazy. My favorite part about this though is the shimmy fall. This guy, when it is falling, it has this crazy, you have to put the video of this. We actually got an awesome video of it. They have one painted so you could really see the shimmy fall on it. The shimmy fall on this is insane. So for you guys that are targeting specific fish and they're a little bit deeper, you can throw this out there, just kind of have it shimmy fall all the way down. It was honestly it was one of the coolest shimmy falls I've ever seen. I don't know if it's how bulbous the back is. It's kind of a wider back for, something this profile. It's, it's pretty small, 85 millimeters. It's probably, I don't know, double the width of a spin bait. Yeah, so double the width of a spy bait. Yeah, it works incredibly well. It moves incredibly easy and also has, multiple functions. If you want to walk it, you can. If you want to bring it back to you, it ends up having this S-glide that is, again, really attractive under the water. And then that shimmy fall was a huge, like, oh my God moment when I seen that. Because we were kind of like, oh, that's really cool. Like, there's a couple other baits that do the underwater walking thing, but that shimmy fall on this guy was crazy. So I'm going to run through the colors really quick. The one that I'm holding here is that Ghost Gold Perch. This is actually my new favorite color from Duo Realis. This one they absolutely knocked out of the park. They need to make this in everything. Agreed? Yeah. Okay, so this is that Ghost Gold Perch. They actually did a lot of colors that I was begging for, which is awesome. This is going to be the Emerald Shiner ND. Again, one of my favorite spy bait colors. We're going to have Goby ND. It's a cool one. One of the best ghost minnows in the business. Ghost Gill. Ghost Pearl. Morning Dawn. Yamame Red Belly. So more of a trout pattern. UV Flash. This is going to look insane on that shimmy fall. Same with this one. Sand Smelt. This might be the best shimmy fall one. Look at that, dude. And then finally, Mullet OB. So nice little mullet profile there on the side, and then orange belly hit. A lot of you guys were calling, asking when we were going to get these in. Finally got those in from Duo Realis. Bayruf. Check out the Seek, man. I'm hoping that they're going to do maybe some more sizes. I mean, their colors are pretty dipped in money. Check those out from Duo. And then also from Duo, I'm going to slot in a cheeky restock here. From Duo's backdoor project, we got in a very small handful of the Pokemon back in stock. So we're going to have Koduck, aka Psyduck. This is going to be the crankbait of the two. So they've kind of turned the bill into a crankbait bill. Obviously a functional lure, obviously a fun one just to have. Fun one for a gift, especially if you have someone who's a fan of fishing and Pokemon or just fishing. It's just one of those things that, I mean, how do you not want to fish a Pokemon lure? I was pleased when they agreed to send us a couple more. Hopefully this is going to become just more of a common thing. And then we also got the star of the show. This is the Pikachu. So this is a topwater walking bait, sort of like a jitterbug. If you're familiar with it, tail has a hook. It's a triple treble bait, officially licensed by Duo Realis. So these are official Pokemon products. Really cool. Flew out of here last time, so got a couple more of those. And then a couple sizes of BR heads have finally returned back in stock. This is sort of the mastermind behind the wind. I think the only one we're missing is 3 gram right now, so check those out. And then new in the Duo Realis Bayruf line, we're going to have the 4-inch BR fish finally in stock from Duo. If you guys aren't familiar with the BR fish, this is the soft plastic for the wind. You can also use this standard, cast it out, shake it, you can hang it. There's a ton of different ways to do it. Previously, it was only available in a 3.3 inch. We sort of did a video, we did a little short showing you guys that there's a 4-inch, and there's also a 5-inch coming. The 4-inch for me was the easiest one to work. So if you're just getting into this style of fishing or you're looking to do the wind. The 4-inch for me, the 5-inch was a little bit hard to really get to do that big exaggerated side to side motion. Obviously it's gonna be effective if you're around that size of bait, you're gonna go with that. This one walked with very little sort of input. I mean, it's the wind, so you're really pulling on it no matter what, but you can foul it up pretty easily. The 4-inch, like I said, was phenomenal. They did all of the saltwater colors, so we're gonna have, you know, some pinks, we're gonna have some crazy chartreuses, some yellows. I even got blues. We got the silver flecks. We got oranges. We're gonna have that gold red. So all of the sort of standard saltwater colors are gonna be available in this. A lot of these colors are applicable to freshwater. With the popularity of BR fish in freshwater, Duo decided to do sort of more freshwater forward colors. I'm gonna walk you guys through all those colors just so you can familiarize yourself with those ones. I'm gonna start right here with Rikyu. It's a good one there. We're gonna have Ice Cube. So that's sort of a white back, clear belly, classic color. Seguro Katakuchi, one of my favorites. Young Watermelon. Kibinago Green. Lively Rikyu. Electric Olive. It's a really good one. Brown Zircon. Pepper Prism. Really good one. And finally, Smoky Magic. And that one that I held up at the start was Shirasu Pearl. Like I said, you can really rig these two different ways, which we'll go here. There's basically, I call it A and B. There's two different modes. So flat side down. So you'll see on this guy, all of the BR fish that this is a flat side here. And then you'll have the rounded side. Hopefully you can make that out in the video. If you go flat side down, that's how you're gonna create the wind. So when you pair this up with the head, flat side down, this thing will literally shoot up back and forth like crazy. If you're looking to do some cast and wind, or you wanna sort of twitch it along, whatever, you're gonna wanna go flat side up. That's mode B. So this is more of a chill way to really fish it. That tail's still gonna be back there throwing micro vibrations, which, you know, sometimes it's nice to have a little bit more of a subtle action to the bait. And then, yeah, you just switch it to the other side if you wanna do the wind and really get those aggressive fish triggered. It's crazy how much drawing power that has when you really get that thing bouncing. And the great part about it is it stays sort of, it doesn't come back to you as fast. So when it's bouncing on the wind, it's really kind of coming back quite slowly, right? So just a really dope presentation that this year is kind of, with all the forward facing stuff and all the mid strolling stuff, which, I mean, a lot of guys use this without forward facing. A lot of guys will use this in a kayak or from shore, whatever it may be. But this is one of the top mid strolling baits on the market right now. So check all those 4-inch out from Duo Realis. Okay, let's have a look at Nishine Lure Works. Last week we brought you guys the two new colors of SmeltHead, the CG Blueback Glow and then the CG Smelt. These things are, again, the SmeltHead for me has become almost my exclusive go-to swim bait head. I love throwing this thing with an easy shiner. There's a couple other trailers that I like to use. I have so much confidence with it if I'm fishing in around grass. It comes to grass great. There's also the ability to put that little inset hook keeper on here. You're gonna make your plastics, especially the K-Tech stuff. You guys know how easily that rips. You put that little inset hook keeper on there. You can get a couple more bites out of it at least. And then the color palette, and then the size. Most of the time it's like, oh, you want 5/8? Well, you need a 4/0 hook. With the SmeltHeads, if I want a 2/7 and a 2/0, I have it. If I want a 2/7 and a 4/0, I have it, as well as the 3/7, the 5/8, all the way up and down, except for the 1/8 is only available in a number 1, which obviously makes sense. The head size would be crazy. They somehow figured out the right head size, width, profile to be able to work it perfectly with two different sizes of hook. And that's important, man, because I get a lot of confidence in certain heads and switching heads based on hook size, it's not ideal. Also, this has sort of a setback 90-degree line tie, so it sits really flat in the water. Again, comes through stuff great. And the colors on these are, I mean, what, second to none? There's so many colors and they're all really good. And now you have the glow ones. So check these out from Nishine. Also in their Finesse lineup, we got all of their Finesse football heads back. These are amazing football heads, great hooks. They're very compact. They have this crazy sort of, I don't know if it's copper or brass, but the wire keeper on this is phenomenal. They come through stuff great. They're made in a bunch of great colors and sizes. Those are back in stock. The Finesse cover jigs are all back in stock. These are gonna be just shy of 10 grams, so a perfect weight for a Finesse cover jig. Come with a great weed guard. They come with a great bait keeper. The skirting material, it's kind of crimped. It's not actually crimped, but it's more of like a ribbing that's on it. Flows great through the water. This was one of the first Finesse jigs I ever threw. Yeah, this was one of the OG ones that really got me on these. All hand tied, great Nishine colors. So check these guys out. And then we got all of the drop shot hooks back in stock. So these drop shot hooks, these are a little bit unique. I'm gonna start with the original one. These require a snell knot. So you can't just use them with your regular, polymer knot or whatever you're tying. These require specifically a snell knot. Now there's a reason for that. How Nishine figured out to keep this perfectly 90 degrees on your line was to do that snell. That's gonna help with leverage when you go to set the hook. The hook point is not going to bend. Which way don't I want it to bend? It's gonna help it, yeah, that makes sense, right? It'll kind of pivot down, which will allow the hook to penetrate. Basically, he eliminated the thought of, what is the best way to do this? I mean, when I use other drop shot hooks, I still do the polymer, I push it back through, and sometimes it's 90, but sometimes a little twisted. You're constantly adjusting it. Once you get this onto your line, it's gonna stay there. It's gonna stay 90 degrees out. You're gonna have a great hookup ratio. And then he also, so this is for nose hook. This is a number 2 size. Specifically, this would be the nose hook one. And then if you're into threading your baits onto the hook, you're gonna go with, this is the one with the built-in keeper. So now if you're throwing a little swim bait on there and drop shotting it, you're gonna have a little keeper. It's gonna allow it to last a lot longer. You're still gonna get that 90 degree because you're tying that snell. It's a great alternative to, just a standard circle hook or something like that. If you're an avid drop shotter, I think it's a really cool thing to have, at least to mix in, if not as your, the core of your drop shotting hook. And then we also got a restock on all of the Nishine Lure Works drop shot minnows. These look like nothing. Go watch a video on the action in the water. These things are wild. They came up with this 2.5 size earlier this year. The 3-inch or the 3.4-inch size has been a staple for a long time. The action on these in the water is crazy. Give them a shot. All the colors, I believe, are back in stock. It looks, dude, it's crazy because it looks so simple in the package. And then you're like, oh yeah, it's cool. So, it's a thin, there's no paddle tails or anything on that. And then you watch that video and I'm just like, can we link the video? The video's on Facebook. Yeah, so the video's on Facebook for that. If you can find it, please watch it. Let's move over to hard baits. This is the Baby Abino 70F, something that's been a staple in his lineup for about a year now, a year and a half. It's gonna look exactly like the spy bait version that he offers, except this is a floating version and you have two different, well, you have a bunch of different modes because like all Nishine Lure Works, there is a ton of little, customizable things that you can do with it. Now, I haven't had these back in stock since we've been doing the drop, so I'm gonna take a second here just to walk you guys through it. This is a really unique topwater bait. So out of the box, it's gonna come like this. It looks like his spy bait, right? You're gonna have this little knocker on the bottom. You're gonna have only a front blade. The difference with this one is how you can customize it, basically. So you wanna take this little knocker off, you can. You wanna take the prop off, you can. You want it to be a popper, it comes with the actual popper lip in the package. So what you'll end up doing is you'll take off this prop, which if you guys haven't used Nishine products before, they're very easy to sort of change things out. There's a little screw here, it'll pull the whole thing out. They've designed it with these inner chambers and it's way above my pay grade. You'll take this off, you'll put this popper on, and now you have a shad style popper that you can either have this thing back there clacking on, or you can take that off and have it silent. It's a really cool bait. You're getting a lot for what it is because there's so many different things you can do. You want to put some weight on it, go ahead. You want to put a blade on it, go ahead. You don't like this blade, you want a bigger blade, go ahead. And that's something that goes with almost all of his baits. There's multiple functions in the hard stuff. So if you haven't checked out the Baby Abino 70F, check it out. This is Pearl Flash, which is a staple for me. And then Ghost Shad is another one that I feel like I have to point out. This is a great, great color. And then, I mean, we got this guy back in stock. So they should all be back in stock now. And then finally back in stock is going to be the Nishine Lure Works SmeltHead Plus. These, I believe, were designed for lake trout originally, but a lot of you guys figured out that having a super heavy head, so they're going to be what, 3/4, 1 ounce, and 1.5 ounces, right? Yeah. So you guys figured out pretty quickly that having those options for the heavier head will allow you to fish those feet deeper effectively. Plus that underspin blade, I really hope he makes more underspins, because this one in this size has already been great, but imagine getting that 2.7, 2-aught. These are all going to come on 4-aught hooks, so just one size for these guys. And we're only going to have, there's only 3 different colors, so Smelt, Pearl White, and then Blue Back Herring. So if you guys are, you know, multi-species guys, these are great for walleye as well. Walleye love to eat an underspin, and you can really get down to them. Lake trout guys, you guys already kind of know what the deal is. And then for you bass anglers, again, still ultra applicable. You can get these guys a little bit deeper, all back in stock from Nishine. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for being patient through the Canada Post, sort of keeping all of our stuff from Japan for the last 4 weeks. Thank you to Duo for helping me out and sending all that stuff via something else. And then, yeah, if you guys are worried about getting your packages from us because of the Canada Post sort of delay, we don't really use Canada Post, we use UPS. So unless you're in like a super rural area, we're not affected at all. We're still, I think we're, you know, around 1 to 3 days shipping time, or 1 to 3 days to your door pretty much right now. So still lots of time to get your Christmas stuff in. Hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend, and I will see you on the next one.